Hello, hi, and welcome to this week's Walk the Wu Wei. This week we are talking all about the conundrum, how not to care what other people think about you. So it's about moving from the painful, uncomfortable red light feelings of worrying, fretting, anxiety, depression, all those labels we give when we're worrying and being obsessive about other people judging us.
Stop it.
and what they're saying about us. And moving from that place to a place where we're experiencing lots of positive green light feelings of joy, bliss, self-confidence, self-assurance, and self-love, and how we get there. So we're going to be talking all about that in this video.
So that's easy.
So that's very easy. Now, David, you always say, and this is a great mantra, what other people say about me or think about me is none of my business.
So just pause, drop your shoulders. What anybody else says about you is none of your business. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because you can't control what other people say or think about you. Yeah. You can only control what you think about you.
And so me and a lot of other people say, well, that's fantastic. That's such a powerful paradigm shift of a mantra. I buy into it. But
There's your butt. There's your butt.
I just can't put it into action.
There's your butt.
So in this video, we'll be talking about basically what problems, what impact does caring about what other people think and worrying about other people think have on our lives, because I think we really need to hammer home on that. Then we'll be digging deep to find out what's the origin of this pattern of thinking, because obviously if you watch our videos, you know that to solve the problem, we often have to dig deep and to find out the root cause rather than just dealing with the superficial stuff. And then lastly, and most importantly, we'll be talking about solutions, how you can really, really, truly believe that what other people think of you is none of your business and still feel fantastic and wonderful and experience all those green light feelings that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So to begin with,
let's do it.
To begin with, David, I would imagine, because I hear this every day from our clients and people who contact us and people in our Facebook group, that there are a lot of people out there who say, you know what, I just hate criticism. I hate being judged. I feel like I'm being judged all the time. I'm a really sensitive person and I just take things personally. I haven't got a thick skin at all. Or, you know what, I'm a people pleaser. I just like pleasing people. So what other people think about me and how I deal with them and how I help them is really important for me. Or I guess lastly, they'll say something like, you know what, I'm just weak. I like finding out what other people think. I can't stand up for myself. I haven't got my own ideas. So what other people think and tell me about me is really important.
Okay, so you're giving me three there. So do you want to play devil's advocate?
Yeah.
So what was the first one?
So
I'm sensitive.
Well, no, the first one was I just hate being criticised.
Why do you hate being criticised?
Oh.
So we're on the golden thread now,
well,
you see.
I hate...
So instead of saying, I just hate and accept that, ask yourself that question. Why do I hate it?
Yeah.
Why do I dislike being criticised? So
fundamentally,
let's see if Alex can do devil's advocate.
The top line of that is when people criticise me, that gives me uncomfortable, painful red light feelings. And I don't want to experience those red light feelings.
So we go back now. You are the creator of your emotions, your red light feelings. You are not the victim. So the next question I would ask Alex is, why do you choose to create a red light feeling when somebody criticizes you?
Because it's important to me what other people think about me.
Thank you. So let's do it together. What's the next why question? Why is it important to you what other people think about you, Alex? Can you see what we're doing? We're just stepping down now, following the golden thread down.
It's important to me because... It's important to me because I like people to like me.
And then you just keep on asking the golden question. Why do you like people to like you? What's important for you for people to like you? Why do you want that? See, if we follow that question down, and what I was just showing and Alex was helping, is so you can do this for yourself.
Yeah.
You keep on asking why.
Yeah.
Why? So what Alex is saying there, I like being validated by other people. I like people loving me. I like telling people, patting me on the back and giving me strokes. And I would keep on asking why, until you come to the core reason, the core reason of why you want other people to do it. And I can tell you, in nearly every case, it's because I don't want to do it for myself. I want other people to do it for me. And why would you want other people to do that for you if you can't be bothered, or you don't want to do it to yourself for yourself? Why do you think other people should do it for you? Why do you think you are owed, or a better word would be entitled, to get that of other people if you can't be bothered to do it for yourself?
And so for a lot of people, I guess they run this program, this kind of faulty logic, shall we call it, on a default. It's a habit.
Absolutely.
Now,
but the habit is just a choice.
Exactly, but they've never questioned it.
And that's what the Wu Wei process is about. It's about you taking time. And what we just did with Alex, I know she was just making it up and playing devil's advocate, but you can see it challenges you.
Yeah.
And the mind will resist it. That's why I call it the human-centered mind. He doesn't like it. So it'll distract you and you go, oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, and I hear things like, oh, it's easier. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's because of it. No. Stay with it.
Okay.
You are worth it. Give yourself this time. Slow down. Drop your shoulders. This is a meditation. So keep on asking yourself why, until you get to the root. The root, as I would say, will be, I don't think I should do it. The root is, I hear quite often, I think it is other people's job to reassure me. I don't think I should do it.
Well, if it's a habit and a choice which is being repeated, is it correct to say that this is something which has been developed, this caring and being bothered and wanting positive strokes and worrying about being rejected or not being one of the pack? Is this something that comes from childhood?
Yes. In my experience, I remember I've been doing this for 40 years, so I can't say for everybody. I can't say for everybody in the world that's watching this. In my experience, this is childhood, the learned behavior, I call it. And it's normally not done in any malice or anything bad. It's normally that we as parents tell our children that, that we kind of tell them what to do. And if they do well, we say, we love you, you're doing well, I'm really proud of you, mom, dad really loves you, keep on doing it. And if you don't do well, it's the opposite. Oh, we're not too happy with that. Oh, I don't think you're trying hard enough. You could do better. I mean, that used to be, I don't know whether they get those on reports now, but when I was a child, that used to come on the report. Could do better. And then your parents used to say, look, you could be trying harder. You're not trying hard enough. And then parents believe that criticizing the child is encouraging the child, is almost like, it's almost like a carrot and a stick.
Well, it's a means of parenting and trying to control and discipline the child, because often I guess the parent is like frazzled and they
under pressure. Wants the best for the child, loves the child, and sees something on the report like could do better, or hears the child saying, "Oh, I can't be bothered, Mom," and then the parent thinks, "I've got to parent this child," and so the parent believes that they have to kind of verbally whip them, and here's another teaching: criticism. Listen to what I'm saying. Criticism never motivates. In the end, it brings you down. It takes something away from you. Do not criticize. Do not judge. Do not compare. Criticism never motivates. But a lot of parents do criticize their child, not sometimes verbally, A look from your parent can be very powerful.
This is the thing. As children, we are we have heightened emotions. We're very acutely aware of what's going on around us, and our parents or our carers or the important people in our lives are our kind of point of reference, our kind of compass. So,
and that's the way it should be. There's nothing wrong in that.
Yeah, I mean, a sensitive child, if they are ever kind of embarrassed or disapproved of, or feeling they've been punished or rejected for doing something wrong, that then, would you say, is that the start of the pattern of always looking for what other people are thinking?
It can be the start, but we're trying to give you a broad brush, and for every individual that's watching this, it will be slightly different. So if you're not getting those strokes, those approval from your parents, it can act in several ways. Some children can put up a barrier and kind of go hard and say, I don't care, and they can be the children that can be disruptive and go, well, if you think this is bad, I'll really show you what is bad. Or other children can really work extra hard to seek that approval, to really try and please and please and please. And then when they don't get that approval that they think that they deserve, then they try even harder, and then they say what I call the vow. We've talked about this on other videos. The child then says, it must be me. There's something wrong with me. And then they say the 3 lies. I'm not good enough. I can't cope. I'm unlovable. And so what they're doing, they're falling into the trap of this carrot and stick, or, the donkey with a carrot in front of them, and they never reach that carrot. And they're always striving and striving because they believe that they have to earn, or love has to be earned, and they have to do that, and they have to strive for it.
And so that, as we've talked about on previous videos, and we'll put some relevant video links up as well on related videos, that misunderstanding, that lie in your kind of belief system, that vow, as you call it,
goes right to the core.
That kind of the seed of that starts in childhood, and you carry that through to adulthood, and that is what makes other people's opinions, other people's judgments, people's criticisms of you so important, because you're carrying that lie that I'm not good enough. Therefore, it is important that others love me and think I'm great, or I can't cope, I can't manage, I'm unlovable. Therefore, it's really important to have people on my side believing in me.
That's right. And then you're looking for external validation to confirm something that you think is wrong. You've already told yourself, I'm not good enough. Can I just go back one step? Because this is important to say. Now, this can be from childhood. This can be from, as obviously, a dysfunctional family. It's quite obvious. But it can also happen as well, and it happens with a lot of my clients, from a family who is overprotective. They put their children in a bubble, and they do everything for them, and they totally protect them, and they keep them away from the reality of life. So please never, never, never underestimate this, because you say, well, nothing bad happened to me. My parents were fantastic. They did everything for me. And that can be as bad in some cases, because you're not being exposed to reality. And I understand this from me being a parent. You don't like to see your child suffering or going through bad things, and you want to whip it up and take it all away from them.
Yeah.
But if you do that, how do they learn to deal with it later on?
And stand on their own 2 feet and not be constantly referring to you.
Exactly.
So does that touch upon the thing about if clients come to you and say, I'm just weak, I can't make up my mind on important life decisions, I'm not sure about what to do, that's why I always look to other people to help me. That's why it's always really important what other people think.
Well, yes, you're right, Alex. It will normally come out of that. But I tell you, the one thing it comes out of is, I'm too sensitive. I'm just too sensitive. I'm one of those small number of people that life is just too
and I'm
difficult
getting
for
blown
me.
around.
And I can't please people, and I'm always going to try. And what they try to do is to create what I call their own world. So if their name was Fred, they try and create Fred's world.
Yeah.
Where Fred's world, where everything is okay. It's like a Disney world, like Utopian. Everybody's happy. There's no confrontation. There's no disagreement. There's nobody arguing. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets on. Everything's okay. And that's what they're working towards. They have this idealistic world, but it is a manipulation, because in this idealistic world, why are they doing that? Is to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Is to stop themselves from being hurt. And they don't want to deal with reality and life.
I mean, this is what I was going to say. You know, a lot of us can logically say, well, worrying too much about what other people think or judging me, it's clearly not healthy. But there must be a payoff for what we call a human-centered mind, the ego. There must be a payoff in adulthood that the human-centered mind believes that it's a good idea to care about what other people think. What is that payoff?
Yes, so you're absolutely right. So let me just emphasize that. Your mind, what we call the human-centered mind, believes that doing this has a benefit. And the benefit it believes it has is to protect you and to keep you safe from emotional pain, not physical pain, because you can create physical pain for yourself. What your mind is saying is, we've experienced emotional pain in the past, in our childhood, and I do not want to experience that again. So the benefit will always be from your mind, your human-centered mind, wanting to protect you. That's why you would never should treat it in a harsh way. It's your mind trying its best. It's striving to try and reach the unreachable. It's trying to keep you in this bubble of safety where everything works out and you're never inconvenienced. Everything goes your way.
Never criticise.
Never judge.
Everyone puts you on a pedestal.
And they all think you're wonderful. And even if you did something wrong, they would be very gentle in the way that they told you. And they'd say, come here, darling. No, come on, let me show you. But the problem is with this is it's not reality.
You can't live like
and
that.
You cannot live.
And so, I mean, that what comes on to the problems. The reality is, if you operate that system, which the human-centered mind is saying to you, you'll be safe, you won't experience any pain.
Nobody will disagree with you.
You know, it'll be all roses round the door. That's what the human-centered mind tells you is why you should do it.
Yeah.
The reality actually is that you are a hostage to other people full stop, other people's opinions of you, what you should be doing with your life, what you should look like, what career you should have, everything. You're a hostage to that. I mean, and this could be people you know, so whether it's your partner, family members, your friends, work colleagues, but equally it's what you call the faceless jury, like some random people out there who you've never met, and yet you're kind of gearing up your life and everything you do in the expectation that the masses out there will hold you on this pedestal, will not criticize you. You're doing the right thing.
So the mind comes up with this wonderful solution to this problem. And here's the solution. If you were perfect, then everybody would like you. Nobody would criticize you, would they? No one would compare you. You'd be top dog. You'd be top of the tree. Life would be so great if you were perfect. Now let's try and make you perfect. So how do we make you perfect? Well, we look around and we say, well, look what they've got. I should have better. Look what job they've got. They've got this. They've got that. They're thinner than me. They're taller than me. They got longer hair than me. And it's always, it's like on the treadmill. I call it the carousel of despair. The Taoists call it the carousel. You put yourself on a carousel where you're constantly looking around and you don't like being criticized. You don't like being compared and you don't like being judgmental. Do you know the one who does that the most? You. You become the most judgmental, comparing, critical person for yourself
Yeah.
and for everyone else.
Yeah.
So the whole thing that you dislike the most, you morph into that person.
Yeah.
And then you start to dislike yourself because you see
the
yourself
paradox.
doing what you don't want other people to do to you. You do it to yourself and you become your own biggest critic.
You're the one
can't-
who beats you up.
you
You don't
can't-
need other people
you
to
don't
beat you
need-
up or criticise you because you're doing such a good job for yourself.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
blame other people,
Yeah.
but you do it to you
Yeah.
even worse. And then you say, well, it's okay for me to do it. And here's what I heard just yesterday, because I'm lazy. And if I don't do it, if I don't whip myself, I would never do anything. I say, well, who says that? And again, well, it's right. I said, well, you're telling me you're a lazy person now? And he said, no, I'm not a lazy person. I said, well, you can't have it both ways. And here's the dual belief system. We'll have to do one on the dual belief system. You jump about from one belief system to the other. If you believe you're not good enough, prove to me you're not good enough. I keep issuing this out every video. I'm not good enough. I can't cope. I'm unlovable. Prove it to me. Give me the evidence. Don't give me the evidence of the aftermath of thinking that. Give me the evidence that makes you believe that. And the evidence that I normally get is, well, my parents told me. My parents told me that I wasn't good enough. My parents told me I wasn't very clever. My parents told me that if I don't go to university, I'm an idiot. This is not true. You know it's not true. Don't start taking on their beliefs and make it yours. You have to stop it. You know, don't do it. Don't go down that road, because if you go down that road, it gets more and more and more. Can I give you an analogy for this? It's one I used this morning. It's one I don't often use, but it's like you're at the bottom of a very steep hill, and at the top of this hill is a car. And somebody takes the handbrake off and the car rolls down the hill and gathers speed and speed and speed and speed. And you're at the bottom trying to stop it. And the car hits you and smacks you down. You know what's best to do is to go right to the top of the hill. And when that car starts to move, just stop it with your finger. And that's what I mean by stop it. You make your way back to the core belief and you deal with that core belief. The start of the process. The very start of the process. And that just takes a little touch to stop the car. Don't stand at the bottom and wait for the car. And then when the car mows you down, say, oh my God, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I can't do anything about it. Of course you can't do anything about it, because over the years, that's gain momentum, gain momentum, gain momentum. Go right to the beginning and stop it at its core, where you first believe it. And that's what I mean by your core beliefs. Go back, follow the golden thread, climb the hill, whatever you want to use, and go back to your first thought. Why do you think you're not good enough? Why do you think you're unlovable? Why do you want to be validated by other people?
So this is what you're talking about now, David, is, I guess, the first step in what we're suggesting, the Wu Wei wisdom solution. For those people who say, I know I shouldn't care what other people think, but I still do.
So you've done so can I just say it, because what you've just said there, Alex, is what I hear every day. I know I shouldn't do this, David, but, and remember, we've done a video on this, but in the middle of a sentence means, forget what I've just said, but in the middle of a sentence. And you can trick me and say, however, or maybe. When you say you're giving me two core beliefs, either you can't say, I don't believe it, but I'm going to do it. It means you do believe it.
So in terms of the dual belief system in this situation, what you're saying is,
I believe this.
I believe, other people shouldn't care what other people think of them. They should be self-sufficient.
Okay, so I would stop there.
And then, but also, I believe...
No, don't say this. No, go here.
Okay.
I believe that what other people think about... What did you say?
Is not important.
So it's not important.
Well, that I can logically believe that your mantra is correct, David.
No. Okay, so why don't you believe it? See now?
This is the thing. It's like people can see the logic when it's not about them, but they can't apply it to themselves.
Because they don't believe it.
Okay.
So what they should say
deep
is...
down,
what they should say is, I hear what you're saying. It makes sense.
So you have to be honest.
Exactly,
So that's the first step.
Exactly. I don't believe it.
Okay.
Then you can ask yourself, why don't you believe it? And that takes you right to the core.
Okay.
Why don't say, oh, I know that's perfect and I should. And in a perfect
But you're
world,
not
Dave,
uncovering the
you're
problem.
not.
So honesty, being honest about where you are, accepting that, you know what? I am still holding on to a faulty belief here.
Why?
Right. Then you can start doing.
Why are you choosing to hold on? You've already said it's 40. So why are you choosing to hold on to that, making that choice? And you go down and you keep on asking you why. Don't say, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to carry on doing it, because that's just an excuse.
So you have to take the time, because sometimes it can be a case of, I believe that, David. When there's no problems, when there's no one criticising you, when you're not in a high-pressured situation, when you're on holiday, not worrying about everything, you can say, I don't care. I love myself. I'm having a great time. I feel free. But then it's the times when you are under pressure, when you are back at work.
But that's the time you've got to do the work.
Exactly. But you've got to, but actually you need to do the work and be honest with yourself when you're not in the heat of the problem.
Right. And so, this comes down, how many times have we said this? This is about truthfulness, honesty, and integrity. Truth and love come from the same seed.
Yeah.
You can't love yourself if you're not truthful to yourself. If you say statements like, yes, that makes perfect sense. I like listening to what David says, but you're not being truthful. You should be saying, I hear what you say, David. I disagree with you. And then write below why you disagree. Tell me why you're not good enough.
Or write it out for yourself. Be honest. Be honest. And I think people just don't do this exercise because we're not taught to question these beliefs that are running our lives.
But these beliefs are like your sat-nav. You know when you go into your sat-nav and you put in where you want to go to and then you follow the instructions? Your core beliefs are just like your sat-nav. You're following these instructions. Here's something else I heard. I don't wake up every morning and think I'm not good enough. You don't have to think it. It's in your core belief. It's operating through that filter that everything that you deal with, what you eat, what you drink, when you walk down the road and somebody glances at you, it goes through the same filter. And you've got to look at that filter. No one can change that filter. I can't change the filter, but you can if you want to. So if it's your belief, this is a great Taoist teaching. If it's your belief, make sure it is your belief, not your parents' belief, not your grandparents' belief, not your teacher's belief, not your friend's belief. Make sure it's your belief. And your belief means you should be able to justify it. When I ask you, or you ask yourself, why? Why do you believe this? Why do you believe that criticism is important for you? You should be able to answer that.
And I mean, the point you made about making sure you're living your life for you based on your beliefs, not somebody else's, parents, family, peers, faceless jury, magazines, your boss. I mean, this takes me to the point I wanted to make about, in effect, if you run your life on this belief system, always using other people's opinions, other people's beliefs as a sat-nav, you're essentially living a lie, aren't you?
You absolutely.
You don't know who you are. You don't know authentically who you are. You don't know what your truth is.
And you're not taking, and this is really, again, we go down to the core, you're not taking self-responsibility. What you're actually saying is, I don't want to be responsible for myself. I want you to be responsible for me. But I'm going to tell you what you should do for me. It's crazy stuff. You are manipulating. Take responsibility. I want somebody to validate me. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to care for me. But I'm not going to care for me. I want you to do it. You've got to stop it.
But playing devil's advocate, David, what about for someone who says to you, but other people know best?
Give me the evidence why they know best.
So, for example, are you saying, David, that I shouldn't take any notice of what other people
I didn't
say.
say that. I didn't say that.
What's the difference then between not caring what other people think about you and absolutely not taking any feedback, criticism, or any notice? What's the difference?
It's the two extremes.
Okay.
You can be inspired by people.
Yeah.
You can listen to what people say. So if they say to you, I don't like your hair, you say, so if you said to me, I don't like you being bald, David, I'd say, why don't you like me being bald? What is it you got against bald people? Yeah. I'd be interested in how you got to your opinion. I wouldn't say, oh, you don't like bald people, let me go and put a wig on then straight away.
Is it about not taking things personally?
Well, why if somebody said something to you, if somebody said to you, I don't like that dress, Alex, would you say, well, I'm going to go and change it straight away? You'd be changing your dress every day. They might have a good point, and they might say, I don't think that dress suits you. By the way, I think your dress looks lovely. But they might say, I don't think that dress suits your colouring. And you say, oh, why don't you think that dress suits my colouring? And they may say, well, I'm a colouring expert. I don't know what they're going to say. But ask the question. You don't just accept what people say, because it's like that, the Western films, the fastest cowboy in the West. There's always going to be somebody higher. You're always going to find somebody with a different opinion. And you're constantly going to be looking around for somebody with a different opinion. You're too fat, you're too thin, you're too tall, your car isn't good enough, where you live isn't good enough, you're not earning enough money, you're earning too much money, you should care for it. You can go on forever and ever. Where do you take responsibility?
So self-responsibility then in these sort of situations, so people can give you helpful, constructive feedback, they can give you negative criticism, they can give you positive praise. But at the end of the day, all of that should funnel into some sort of self-filtering system, self-referral system, whereby you say, hold on a minute, before I accept everything without question here, good, bad, or ugly, there needs to be put in place some sort of like gating system where I make a judgment as to what is correct here, what I'm hearing.
But this is going to be a little bit complicated, so stick with me. So this is what I hear a lot of the times. David, I'm too sensitive. I'm too easily swayed. I've got no opinion of myself. I'm very weak. I'm very docile. I'm like a doormat. I do everything that anybody says. One client said to me about 3 weeks ago this. I said, fantastic. And she said, what do you mean? I said, so you do everything? She says, yes, I'm like a doormat. I said, great. Stop doing it then. And she said, well, I couldn't do that. I said, well, I've just told you. I've just told you something. If you do what everybody says, do what I say. Stop it. And she said, well, I can't. I said, well, I thought you said you do what everybody said. You know something? The people who are suffering from all of these emotional things are the stubbornest people. I've been working and talking to them for 40 years. They are the opposite. They will not budge. Yeah. They have a state of mind. Yeah. They have a belief, and they will hold that belief. And what they're trying to get, the goal that they're looking for, is this emotional safety, when everybody loves them, where everything works out right, where bunny rabbits jump around the fields, lambs jump around, roses grow around the door, everybody's happy.
So they're letting
and they all agree with them.
Yeah.
And everything they say, everybody agrees with them. You are not weak. I wish you were, because my job would be easier. I would just say, change. Well, do this then. Stop it. Yeah. Do that, and you would do it, wouldn't you? You'd do it if you were weak. You could just send me your problems. I could send you the answers. Follow the answers. Yeah. You wouldn't.
And that's why it doesn't matter how many self-help books you read. It doesn't
matter how many.
If you let your human-centered mind run your life,
absolutely.
Then that's, as you say, it's a choice. But you can make the choice to move to letting, I guess, what we refer to as the Shen, the spiritual energy. Yeah.
I'm just remembering what somebody said. Okay. I just remembering what somebody said, and she said, well, what does that mean? I said, you be responsible and take responsibility for your beliefs and your thoughts. And she looked at me, she said, every thought? I said, of course they're your thoughts. If you're not responsible for them, who do you want to be responsible for them? See, this is the question you have to ask yourself. When you climb up the hill to that car, to stop the car rolling, if you do not want to be responsible for your life, for your decisions, who do you want to be responsible? Who do you think should step in and take over your life and tell you what to do?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't want. Who would you want to do that? Do you want me to come in and say, okay, today I've worked out your day and this is what you must be doing? What would you say to me? You'd tell me to go and get lost? Of course you would. This is a nonsense. You've fallen into the trap. You've fallen into this dual belief system. You think it's easier not to take responsibility. You think it's easier to have excuses and justifications. You think you can be perfect. You can't be perfect. You're human. You will make mistakes. Own up to your mistakes.
Nobody's perfect.
Thank goodness. And just think about that, what Alex just said. Do you think that if you were perfect, if you were God, what do you want people to do? To get down and worship you?
People would still judge you, criticize you, because their judgments, their criticisms, their feedback is going through their filter system, their beliefs. So it's almost like it's not like a neutral. You're not getting judgment, criticism, feedback from a neutral position. It's, and this is where it just gets all messed up. Keep it simple. Stick with your own self-referral system.
I thought it was very funny. I read the other day, the guy who invented Microsoft, what's his name? Bill Gates, had given something like, 10 million or whatever it was. I won't be specific, but he gave 10 million to a country. And somebody read, well, he's a billionaire. He should give more. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you give. Someone will always criticize you. And so if you're trying to stop that criticism, then you will fail. You will fail. You cannot live in this idyllic life that you want to live in. And you know what? Think about it. After this video, think about it. Who is your biggest critic? Who compares you the most?
We know the answer.
Who is judgmental about you the most? And if that started off with your parents, then you have become your parents. And I tell you one thing, you have taken it to another level. You are even worse than your parents because you're doing it worse to yourself and you know better. You're listening to these videos, so you always know the answer. Everything that I say, you already know. You know the answer. You're tricking yourself and you're failing. You are only trying to fool yourself. Stop it. Because then you're at the bottom of the hill and this car is gathering speed. This car will splatter you to smithereens. Go to the top of the hill and don't take off the handbrake. Live your life authentically. Live your life truthfully. Live your life so you can be proud of you. Be clear on how you want to live your life. Be clear on your intention. Guide your intention like the compass and then follow it with truth, honesty and integrity. Never give up your self-worth. Never have self-doubt. You're not perfect. Just be the best that you can be. I can't understand the concept that you say to yourself when you doubt yourself. What part of you is doubting what part of you? It doesn't make sense. Is it your mind doubting your nose, your big toe, your ears? It doesn't make sense. Think about it. When you say, I doubt myself, I criticize myself, what part of you is criticizing what part of you? You must stop this. Go back to the beginning, follow the golden thread, ask yourself why. Why do I believe this? Why do I believe this? Why do I believe this? You'll come back down to the reason. A lot of the time it's because this is what I was told as a child. Now, I'm not doubting it was told as a child. I'm saying now, If it was told you as a child, if you were told as a child that you're not lovable, they love your brother and sister more than you, you're not good enough, then you ask yourself, because that person told me that, does that make it true? That's the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they speak the truth?
Yeah.
Do I now live my life on what they told me? Even if they beat it into you, even if they got a whip and says, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, does that make it true?
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't.
So, well, we've covered a lot of stuff there, David.
Big subject. This is a big subject.
Taking self-responsibility
Is the key.
now, accepting your beliefs as they are, not denying them, not pretending that you believe you don't care when you do. So
Stop using but.
Stop using but, take self-responsibility, do the golden thread work to find the core belief, the childhood vow, the childhood lie, and then question it, unpack it, deal with it.
Take it apart. Write to us and say, David, this is what I believe. But don't say, oh, I know what you're going to say. Just tell me what you believe and then give me the evidence. Give me the reasoning why you believe it. I believe I'm not good enough, David. And then the next word should be because. So here we go again. I believe I'm not good enough, David, because. I believe I can't cope, David, because. I believe I'm unlovable. I'm not worthy. Because.
And then look at, is that true?
And then you follow that down. And if you can't follow it down, then I'll help you to follow it down. And I'll tell you all I say, why? Why do you believe you're not good enough? Why do you believe you're not worthy? Why do you believe you're unlovable? Why? And then it will come down to the core reason, which is normally in childhood. I know we're going to do other videos on inner child, because remember, the inner child is that part of your mind that's locked. It's like a kernel, frozen. It's scared. It doesn't know what to do. It only knows one way. And it doesn't know. We've got to go back and we've got to give that child love. You have got to give yourself love, reassurance. You've got to give it some answers. You have to do that for yourself. Remember I said the last video, you're looking for other people to do that for you. You have to do it for you. And then people say, well, I'm not going to do it for me because they don't do it for me. This is the mistake. You have to do it for you. It is no one else's responsibility to love you. You can't say, I don't love me, but you have to love me. You have to love you. Can I make it any more clearer? You have to value you. You have to give yourself every reassurance. You have to take responsibility for every thought and every belief. They're yours. Take responsibility for them. Can I make it clearer for you? Stop this old way of thinking. You're standing at the bottom of the hill. The car is gathering speed. You will be smattered. Stop it. Splattered, whatever the word is. Smithereens.
Brilliant. And so I will put links to videos which will provide you with some further help on self-love, how to speak your truth, and basically, how to avoid this perfection trap. We've done lots of videos on that sort of stuff.
Because you've just said it, and it's so undermined. Self-love. We say self-love all the time, and it goes over people's head. I know when I'm sitting with them, they kind of go, woo. Just meditate. I've been doing some videos on meditating. Just meditate on that word, self-love. Just drop your shoulders, breathe deep, and think about what it means to you. And again, right below, what does it mean to you? Self-love. And that's very important. Don't underestimate that word. It's a really important word.
And I think for everyone who's watching or listening to this teaching, it really helps if you can, if anything we've talked about, any of the thought patterns, any of the beliefs, the childhood experiences, if it resonates with you, if you can relate to it, please comment and tell us, because your sharing will help other people, so people feel they're not, it's not just them, everyone will be able to help each other.
And this is what when I say that to some of my clients, well, share this in the group and get other people's. Then they say, oh, I couldn't do that, David. And I go, why? It's your belief. Yes, but I'd be embarrassed. Why would you be embarrassed if it's your belief? You're only embarrassed because you know it's a load of rubbish. That's why you're embarrassed. If you actually believe
But this is this honesty. This is this first step we've talked about.
Put it in the group.
I think if you can kind of hold your hand up and said, you know
This is
what,
I believe.
this is where I'm at now, but I want to move forward. And hopefully some of the things we talked about in this video, some of the other videos that I'm going to put links to, will give you lots of help and advice. And I hope we've given you a good steer in this video. As per usual, as I said, please post your questions and comments below if you've enjoyed listening, if you've enjoyed watching the video. We will always answer your questions. If you've got any ideas for future videos, we always want to hear from you.
And you're awesome.
And
you are awesome.
You're awesome. But
You're awesome.
Don't listen to us. Listen to yourself. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.